Hello guys, and welcome to the channel. So this has been a very good day for me. I'm going to come in close and you'll see why. And that there is the Kingpin I've been going on about for the past few days. You may have heard me mention him on other reviews, but I've got him at long last. So I'm very pleased. So there you will see his other head sculpt and another pair of hands, and you'll be seeing him today in a few poses, which is what this review's about. But I won't be doing anything else because that will happen with part 2 when I bring these guys in to combat poses with Kingpin, and that's Miles Morales Spider-Man. I love that figure. Very insect-like when you pose him, which is how he comes across in the animation movies. And then we've got my latest addition to the Spider-Verse, Peter Parker Spider-Man. I really love this figure as well. He and Miles Morales complement each other, I think. But looking at the detail of the suit, because this was the thing that they said about this figure, was that where you see the webbing on that suit, it's normally inked in black. And you do see that in the film, because I've been watching them for the past few days. Because I got this figure, I just went back to watching the films again. And yeah, you do see that, but at times he appears just like this. So I think it is the way the artwork's been done throughout the film. Sometimes he'll have the inked in lines on the websuit, and sometimes he won't. But enough about them. Kingpin is the guy I wanted because the animation version of this character for these two Spider-Men is around, and I wouldn't mind having it. But why I went for this is because he too has a black suit and he's very similar in the face, but what they've done in the artwork, if they've exaggerated his face and made him really grotesque and obese. But the image of him is very much this image, I think, and you could almost pass for being an animation face. So I'm going to use him and demonstrate his combat poses with these two Spider-Men in front. But I had another consideration that I was thinking about, so I'm going to pause the camera and you'll see what that is. That's right, Daredevil. And of course Daredevil does fight Kingpin, but he's normally fighting that Kingpin, played by Vincent Onforio, I think that's his name is. But yeah, I've posed them out fighting each other. Thought up a few more actually, wouldn't mind putting them on camera, but no, I thought about having him fighting him, but I'll have to test it out first before I actually film it. But I also had Kingpin out here, the TV Kingpin, to show you the difference in size. So I'm going to take them off the platform, these two figures, and start posing out Kingpin. So there's the first pose. I've changed out the head sculpt and slightly changed the angle of the body, but that's a good head sculpt, equally as good as the one you've just seen. And I'll probably pose that head more when he's fighting or in combat mode, kind of a sinister face. So I'm going to turn him around the other way to see what that looks like. So I'll turn him the other side. So I've turned him a slightly different angle so you can see more of that cane. And I like that. Very pleased to get this guy today. I've had a good day actually. I was over at my friend's house, and it was a while before I actually clocked on the table that he's bought a new DeLorean. The Back to the Future 2 DeLorean, the flying car, and the wheels go up and the lights underneath the car come on, and inside the cockpit area or the seated area of the DeLorean, and I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away, and would love to film them and put them on my channel, but he wasn't ready for them to be seen yet, so didn't want to pressure him. But good on you, mate. You're building up an impressive collection. So I'll pose him again before I tell you how I got this guy, and then I'll pause it first, then I'll pose him and tell you how I got this guy. So here's another one, just to show you the articulation of the figure, and it's mainly in the feet area. You can see I've got one lifted at the back, and if you find the balance of the figure, you just stay up. And these are the sort of poses I'm going to try and get him in when he takes on those two Spider-Men there, Miles Morales and Peter Parker. So let's change him around, show him on the other side. So that's another one. So see that front leg there? That was to the rear of the figure. So I've just turned him around, twisted him at the waist. Didn't know if he could do that, but yes, he's very articulate. I know some of the critics have said he could be more articulate, but he's enough for me. And I'm looking forward to posing him in combat poses against the Spider-Men on the platform. So yeah, last week I tried to get this guy. I was supposed to tell you this story a while back, but I forgot. Yeah, I was supposed to get this guy and he wasn't in, and I ended up buying Iron Man, and the day after that World War II Wolverine, and I don't regret that because I've loved posing them, reviewing them, and I thought, you know what, there's a reason for things. But this thing came in today on the way back from my mates who has the DeLoreans. Check out Ray Ray's collection and subscribe. You got to do it. The stuff he's got is awesome. But anyway, yeah, so after that good time up there with him, I was going back past my local toy outlet, and they had one box had just come in, and I thought, I'm having that. So he was retailing at £31, and I thought he was more than that, because you got figures his size like Colossus from Deadpool 2, that silver looking figure, which was about 40 to 50 or something like that. You had the Red Hulk, which was up there, it was about 35, and other figures as bigger than him or about his size, but he was 31, so I was happy to pay that. So let's change out his pose again and see what else we can come up with. Let's take it back. So we've got me old Spider-Man in there. Right then, here we go. That looks good from there. Next one. Yeah, before we moved on from this, the last pose, I thought I'd stick his other head sculpt on just to show you that. And that looks good. More intense face, I would say. But I like them both. I do. Can't decide which one's my favourite, but it doesn't matter. I like them both. So that's that one. So let's get on with the posing and see what that looks like. That's a nice one. Changed out that hand, and now he can hold the cane, you know, like that. Still got one of his fighting fists in. but we'll be changing that out pretty soon. Not bad at all. He looks good from all angles, and I've said this before, you'll get certain figures that have very powerful images, and so you don't really need to overpose them because they still look good, and that's what this figure has going for it. Okay, let's change the angle of this and keep the head sculpt. And again, yeah, powerful image, very little in the pose, but I just change the angle and it takes on a different feeling. So yeah, I like that. I'm going to put the other head sculpt in now and keep that pose. So this is the other head sculpt. You know what, I'm getting a feeling I've done this one already with him with the cane and his head sculpt, or maybe not, maybe it's my head. It's getting late, but I'll change the angle of it and move on from this. So this is the other angle, not the strongest pose, but what I've done noticeably is I've got the cane further down in his hand, so he's gripping it more in the middle rather than the end, in which you see him trying to use it like a club. This is like a middle grip of the cane, as though he's ranting at someone. Spider-Man up in the rafters. If you're a man, Spider-Man, come down and face me. That sort of thing. But yeah. Again, looking good from all angles. Right, I'm going to get the other hand in, because the other hand is like a gripping hand, and that hand can hold the cane also. So I'm going to get that hand in. Now I wanted to try and get him gripping the cane with both hands, which he manages to do just about. It's not the grip so much, it's the bulkiness of the figure. So you have to really rotate those arms and the elbows, which they can do, that's what they're capable of doing, and carefully rotate the wrists, but can just about get away with it. I think I can do better, but I'm not going to fiddle too long with this figure. I've just got him, don't want to break him. Haven't had that happen to me, but I don't want to jinx it. So I'll change him to a different angle, but I'll put the other head sculpt on. Yeah, I've put him at an angle and the other head sculpt is on. It seems to look better, but I want to try something else. And then we'll wind it down. Just a simple one and a nice one. Of course, Kingpin looks at his best with the cane. It adds more to his personality. But before I put this guy before camera, I did have him in a lot of fighting poses with a combination of a fighting fist and the gripping hand for the cane. And then I had him with just a fighting fist, and it looked really good in those different poses. So I'm going to change the angle again and put on the other head sculpt. So that's pretty good actually, I like that. Certain poses work with certain head sculpts. I think this one works better with this pose. This particular head sculpt works better. Quite like that. You can imagine that being a Bane pose. In fact, he could be a Bane if you could get a Bane mask over that. He would get away with being Bane. he's just as intimidating and violent. But yeah, so we're going to do one more and we're going to leave it like that. And I'm very pleased to get this guy today. So here comes the last pose. So this is the final pose. And I'll get some angle shots. Then I'll turn him around the other way, keeping the pose and the head sculpt. And call it a day. But what he's got in there now is a fighting fist. And of course, a gripping hand. But that's not bad. So let's turn him around the other way and end this review. So here's the final one. I like that angle better because you can see the cane straight away. And I certainly like that head sculpt on this pose. Not that the other one wasn't any good. But this is the pose I'm going to leave him in now. And I will leave these guys alone until I get them in the kitchen area where there's some daylight. It's not bad night shooting, but sometimes you've got to watch out for shadowing, glare issues. But I haven't had too much of a problem, I don't think. But yeah, let's come in close one more time. And I do like this figure a lot, and I'm pleased to have him. Now, that box he came in, that is the image of this figure, but I don't recognise the head sculpt being quite like that, so that could be an actor. But I'm very happy with both head sculpts. So tomorrow, you will see him in combat poses, going up against these two guys, Spider-Man and Peter Parker. So let's come in close on Peter Parker one last time in a Spidey pose. Having just watched the film the other day, this image is fresh in my mind, and I think they've done a good job on this figure for lightness and detail and accuracy. And he's very good to pose, which you'll see tomorrow. And let's come over on the other side and get Miles Morales looking freaked out. So looking forward to posing both those guys tomorrow. The funny thing is I will shoot it tomorrow, but more than likely it won't be on my channel until the day after or the day after that. So on that note, I'll say thanks for watching. It's been a good day. I spent a good time with my mate and saw his DeLoreans and walked away thinking I've had a good day. And then I walk into my toy outlet and I get this guy that I've been going on about since last week. So there he is, Kingpin. And on that note, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.